seen you for a long time, girl.
Yes. Oh
It's
my
been
goodness.
a while since we sat together and talked.
I know. It seems I don't even remember when was the last time.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
And we were talking about time, right?
Yes, yes. Time
Time.
management.
And I'm late on my managing the time day.
Let's talk about
That, right? Always trying to get to the
let's,
level of
yeah,
where
yeah.
I think it was funny. Let me tell you how it came about. So it came about my daughter. I was just talking to her. I said, I feel like I covered a lot of things, and she's the one. My mom calling. Okay, she doesn't know I'm on radio. Okay, so here it is. So she said, "Mom, you really talk a lot of deeper relationship work, but we all struggle with the time, you know. So have you thought about that one?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's something really on the surface. Time management. We all kind of struggle with that, including me. I struggle a lot. And I thought this would be good. So most of the time when I am struggling with the certain topics, those are the one I want to talk about. It's like bring it into the front.
Huh. Right.
And my family has shared concern, like, you got to manage the time better. Even with my clients, it's like an hour session. I always go over time. I'm just so engaged, so involved that I just lose track of time.
Oh.
So recently, this was my New Year resolution. Actually, I did forgot. I was supposed to bring you guys a planner because I did buy myself a planner. So I thought, this one year is about management, time management. We call it time management. But actually, to the audience, I want to share it's about self management. I have to manage myself with the time, right? We call it shortened version time management.
Yeah.
So I have learned to manage myself, which includes my priorities. How do I organize the time? How I'm learning to say no, which is I struggle all my life, That's where my self-compassion comes in. So this is all comes in the time management. We can't just, time is not like a matter or something it's not an object we can just say, let's place it here or let's place it there. It's us struggle with the time, right? And I think it's something could be where how we grew up, right? How we did not value ourselves enough, again, going back to self-compassion part, that we don't see ourselves as important, that we don't see what this person needs and want. So we sort of put that like, oh, I need to tend to this, I need to tend to this, and sometimes we just get washed into that process. It can be very much cultural, very much family, and very much in the world how we live now, right? It's like you got to be present for this, you got to be present for this, and we kind of what we call we spread ourselves so thin that we don't realize where do we say yes, where we say no, how we compartmentalize,
Yeah.
right? We overcommit ourselves, and we are so much around so much noises,
Yeah.
like even some non-profit work to even work, to the family, to the girls' time. So we just feel like we need to be everywhere because I resonate with this, I resonate with this. And in that process, what we do is we don't manage ourselves
Yes.
and lose track of time. Can
Yeah.
I take a pause? It's just like, I'm just like, I was listening to this another podcast about managing time, and then it was just like, yeah, the whole self didn't come in there, but then I was like, pretty much it's about self, right?
Yeah.
How we view ourselves. If I view myself, I need to do this, I got to be there for this person, I got to be more present at work. When I need to be this,
Right.
I don't see the self in there, right? So this topic actually was this weekend, having both children at home helped me because I asked their input,
Oh, great.
right? It was
Yeah.
just like because they're young, they are in school, they are in an early career, in their life, professional life, early stage.
Yeah.
And they know how to like compartmentalize, how to prioritize. Because I'm scattered person. I'm not together most of the time. Right? So it's listening to hearing them out, like how they view the world.
Yeah.
Right? So important to see that how young people view the world, and that's really gave me clarity. And both had very similar point. Few things they had very similar point, but they had like standing very differently on certain places. And I was like, whoa, I never viewed the time that way in that context,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it's just awakening experience how we should have this communication with our young children,
Yeah.
because they don't have a concept of time. They're just like, oh, I want to play. No, I want to do this. No, I want to do this, right? When you're seeing the young people, it's like, what's the time? I don't know. Well, it's time for you to eat. It's time to you play. It's time to you go to school, right?
Yeah.
That's how we talk to children, because we are teaching them they need to do this. But we don't tell them like how it relates to the time, right?
Yeah.
So we say, 5 o'clock you have a soccer practice, right? They know soccer practice, but they don't have the concept of the time. You have the concept of time.
Yeah.
So how valued that time is, the conversation has to happen at very young age.
Yeah.
Right? And which we don't do. It's like, we time for soccer. Time Monday and Wednesdays are soccer, and Tuesday and the Thursdays are pianos, and weekend is the game. You know how we kind of
Yeah.
play
So
around
you
that.
set the schedule for them. So
We schedule, right?
Yeah.
But we teach them, you need to be good at music, you need to be good at dancing, you need to be good. But then we don't really see them how all these things will fit into the time frame. How would they manage themselves in that time? So that's why a lot of young people I see is struggle with that, because they've been told they got to do all this, and they want to put all this, and then there's not enough time.
Yeah.
So if we have that conversation about time at very young age, they could just say, you know what, I really screw this. I don't want to do any of this in my time. I want to just lay around.
Yeah.
How about that, Mom?
Yeah.
it's time. It's time to relax and do
Time
nothing.
to relax. How about that time, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how I grew up, like, and
Yeah,
then,
constant.
right?
Correct.
Constant move. You got to be this.
Yeah.
In that process, we become people pleaser. We don't look at ourselves, what
Yeah.
our self needs are, taking
Yeah.
care of self. Especially for girls, I think we're just we got to be good at everything, right? We got to be the warrior of everything, in relationships, to family life, to children, everything, right?
Yeah.
Because we see our moms and, it's like that, right? We've seen them do that. So we kind of like follow their footsteps, and we want to be what they are doing, not thinking that maybe
Exactly.
we need to change that.
Yes.
So I
because
think
it's
that's
just
what
like
it is.
there's like catering to people, catering to like workforce, catering to this, but then where's the time?
Yeah.
Where's the time in this? It's like it's all about doing,
Yeah.
serving,
True.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because our mind, so that's why my children, like I was saying, they had me that clarity. Like I was like, yeah, I know what I'm saying, but no, Mom, again, be clear. You're not clear. You got to have a clarity what you're saying. So that's where we have actually at the same time we ordered this book and we read sort of together as a family, 7 Habits of Effective People, highly effective people.
Yeah.
So I think we ordered the book, and I think we all kind of took turn to
Yeah.
read it, and we had a little bit of discussions. I think they were, in high school at the time. I
Yeah.
think that was a good timing to get them know the concept of developing good habits, because
Yeah,
it's
because
not like
so example, I have a middle schooler, right? He's in 7th grade, and till elementary or even 6th grade, I didn't have to worry. Like he had to never take tutoring. He'll do his homework and get A's and stuff. But this year in 7th, I guess he is 12. He's going to turn 13 this year. I can see the habits change a little bit, right? Where I'll have to push him on certain things. I'm like, is your homework complete? Or, so I don't know if it's self-management or I'll message his teacher. So they're like, it's about this age where I guess they have the autonomy to do things and they're trying to figure it out. So then as a mother, like, how much do you push them, right? Because you don't want to be an helicopter parent too. And with him, I've really never had to worry about anything because he's always the responsible one. Like, my younger one takes more of my attention. So now I'm like, okay, maybe like the roles are reversing because teenage, they always say it's the hard years. So to develop the good
Having
habits,
them read
right?
books for that in their summer reading.
Yeah.
Just to say, hey, this is a family book. We all gonna read. We all gonna talk about.
Yeah,
So I think
that
that's
might be
when
a good thing.
I think it was my husband. He's like, oh, I had seen this book, but as a therapist, he's like, yeah, this is another book.
Yeah,
Right. There are a lot of other things.
Yeah.
But it really was a good book when we all kind of read it, and we also put it on our Audible. We were on a trip. We kind of listened to it together. We had a discussion.
Idea.
It was it was his idea because I think it was that was their high school years, and then it was a good timing for them to really understand the concept of time, prioritizing, organizing, because they are in full control. They are the pilot, right? We're not pilot anymore.
Yeah,
correct.
So
and how much can you tell them, right? Because now it's 7, like you said, and high schoolers, they're on their own, and if they want to go to college, I cannot be calling him and telling him, oh, now is your classes done? Have you been? Is your assignments done? So we have to teach them, right?
Yes.
So that would be
and if we tell them, then no, it doesn't work.
It doesn't
Just have
work.
to guide them.
You have to guide them.
You just say, here it is. It's yours. You're in charge.
figure it out.
Even though you're like right around the corner if they need you, but pretty much you want to give them the control button of their life, because now they have phones of their own and they can spend time on that. And I mean, we all do that too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm sitting right 5 minutes. I got 5 minutes. I can scroll through the
And that
phone.
goes to 20 minutes, right?
Right. And I was like, that's what happened this morning with me. I was like, let me listen to another talk. Maybe that'll have more clarity of what I'm saying. But hey, 5 minutes. No, that was 15. So that got me in trouble. That's what happens. So, and I never read your messages. If there are any messages, any voicemail, just don't do it when you have something important, right, to go to. So that's where come down to the 4 quadrants Stephen Covey talks about in that book. He talks about what's urgent and what's important, non-urgent, not important, right? So we have to look at, I kind of make a chart, so I don't know if you have a videos, I kind of have that in there. So it's just like we mostly, spend, when we have urgent and important, right, which is like problem, crisis, when you have at the restaurants, when you have with your children, how we have like problem and crisis, we always put things to the last minute. And then we think it's important and it's urgent. I got to take care of 20 things in a day, because somehow we got to the point because we think it's urgent and important. Yeah. And a lot of people live like that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It just like they say, I have work, I have children, I have, this, that, I have to call my family, I have to do this. So somehow their life is always on the crisis mode. Right? Then there is like not urgent, but it's important. So those are the things like your goals, your mission, your long-term planning, like retirement, talking about your retirement, talking about relationship building. What we are doing is kind of like not urgent, but it's important. Yeah. This radio talk falls into that. We're trying to address what's really, how we want to grow in our life and journey. And that's like reading time for self-improvement, spiritual conversations, activities, physical activities. So like when we go to gym, like we plan to go to gym, exercise. We say, I'm going to exercise 4 times a week or 5 times a week. That's more like it's important. It's not urgent. So what is important, it's a day-to-day thing, right? So that's a lot of people live like that. And there are people that are like not important and urgent. That's like time waste. It's like unnecessary calls. Like, I know I have to come to the radio, but let my mom call, like 10 till 11. Let me just sit in the car and attend her call. So I'll walk in there and on time. But no, I'm going to be walking in at 11:05 or 11:10, right? So what's that? I need to sort of see when I'm at work and I can hear the message and I know it's not important. So I should wait till when I get home to call back. But what we do is like, oh, I got 5 minutes. Maybe I'll just call that person, right? Never do that. You should wait till the end of the day to call that person because we are not good with managing time or managing self, right? So a lot of us, fall in that. And then there is not urgent, not important. So what is that? Just watching TV? Like, I'm bored, I'm sad, I am like nothing to do. I really don't want to think about it. Let me just watch TV for a little bit. Oh, I love this show. You want to season 1. First episode. I'm just going to only watch 2 episodes. No.
Binge watching starts.
Yeah. That's like not urgent, not important. Right? So that's where we lose our time. Right? Time is something there, but it's us. We fall into that our self fall in that trap, then we don't manage the time.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then we lose. It's not just about the time, it's about the energy. It's like mindless watching TV and having gossip conversation with whoever, Doesn't matter, family, friend, right?
Ooh,
Talking
where did the time go?
Where did the time go? We've been talking for 45 minutes. I've had that. I'm culprit for everything, right? And then
and then there are so many of us also who have that to-do list, right? So you're so focused on that to-do list, you're trying to get everything checked off that you don't really need to. Like sometimes it's like something might just come up out of the ordinary, and you should kind of like prioritize it, see if it needs to be taken care of. But sometimes we are just following that to-do list and we forget.
Right?
Yes.
Yes.
And then also the word multitasking.
Oh, yes.
Hey, I'm multitasking.
Yeah, it's actually it looks good upon, right?
Right.
It's like that was Sunday for me, doing the laundry, cooking. We're just multitasking,
but then are you managing your time correctly? Is your time, are you managing it properly in the sense that is it quality work that you have put into,
or am I really comfortable doing that?
Yeah.
Right? Am I really enjoy doing this, or am I like, oh my god, I have something on the stove, it's burning, but I gotta go and take out the laundry because it's just gonna be wrinkled, things like that. So am I good at that?
Stressed. Then we get stressed,
right? So
then we're exhausted.
Yeah.
And then we go to sleep.
And then we binge watch.
Yeah.
It's the cycle. So multitasking is not for everybody. Some people say, oh, men are not multitask. Women are more. Yes, but there comes a time when you're 50 plus. Forget that. I'm not want to be multitasker.
Yeah.
I want to do just one thing. I want to read. When I read, don't bother me because I won't be a happy person. I'm not going to take care of something else for you when I'm reading because that's just my time. Right?
It's your time, yes.
Right? And I think it's important to let people know around you that, I'm not that person anymore, right? I'm not good at it. Maybe I was at one time. First, we have to have our own realization.
Yeah, we have to, like you said, it has to be self-awareness first.
Yes.
Because you could have enjoyed it at one point, but as you age, especially for me, after 40, I'm like, there are certain things I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
It's
not a big deal.
It's not a big deal, and I'm not going to give it my time or attention because
it can wait.
And I guess as you get wiser, that's why they say with age you get wiser, hopefully, then you realize that not everything needs the attention and the urgency, right?
So it's like in my profession, a lot of people have a certification of this, certification of that. That was part of my life and first 10 years of my career. And I was like, I need to do this. And when I go to all these training, I realized, it's just packaged. I've learned this before, but I learned this before. Oh my goodness, what a waste of time. 5 days I've been sitting here and I'm learning the same thing over and over, but its label says something different. Well, okay, at least I got a certification.
Right?
It feels good, right?
Yeah.
It feels good, but not anymore. I feel like, you know what? it's enough.
Yeah.
It's a lot. My work is like if I have to implement in my life to see how it. Oh, there's a
Do
call.
we have
Yeah.
to go on break?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So let's go on a short break. And when we return, we are having a great conversation here with Bhavna on time management. And when we return, we'll continue that conversation. This is Chai Time on 99.5 FM. Welcome back to Chai Time on 99.5 FM. We are also on Facebook Live, so watch us. We are having a conversation on time management, and it's been going so well that we didn't even realize the first half hour was done.
It's gone. Yes.
So let's continue with that, Bhavna.
Yes. Any questions so far? What we were
Oh, no
talking
questions.
about that.
We are just trying to absorb everything.
Okay, so another 7 points, that 7 habits we were talking about. One is being proactive,
Right.
right? Be courageous to decide what you want to achieve, right? Like when first thing in the morning, what do we want to achieve? Right? We have to be proactive about prioritizing, right? Proactive about like, oh, going to work is my priority in the morning. I want to be work. I don't want to miss work. But we got to be proactive about it, right?
Yeah.
Right? I want to be getting up 6 o'clock in the morning to be at work on time. Like I decided, I've been up since 6. I should have been here on time. But we have to be proactive. Right? We have to prioritize it. That this is what's important to me. We go that like a little bit of that curve, like snake. We don't go straight into things. So that's like being proactive. Just like, and also, actually, this is the point what Arjun brought up. It was like, don't be reactive. In the morning, we are living in a world we are very reactive. Like we think everything needs attention right away, right? It's like, how do I give an example? Like Arjun was leaving this morning.
Yeah.
Sorry, Arjun, I'm quoting you. You're there listening. So it's like he said, Mom, I will manage. I'll go. You don't have to worry about getting up.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I slept a little late last night, and he said, you don't have to get up.
Yeah.
But I thought, no, I need to be there.
Yeah,
My reaction is like, as a mom,
Yeah,
I need to be there to
absolutely.
say bye. He has a
Yeah.
big exam today. So I was like, I need to be there.
Yeah.
So he's like, that's my reaction, right? We are reactive. We immediately divert ourselves and we forget our priority,
Yeah.
right? It's like you are at work, right? I'll call you. And it's like, oh, Bhavna been calling me. I really should take her call, right? It's like reactive. But even though you're in the midst of work, which really needs your attention.
Yeah.
And that happens with people at work all the time.
Right.
It's like they have a deadline for some project, but then boss comes, and then they say, hey, you need to take care of this. Sometimes we just say, oh, I need to take care of it. It's my boss. But you have to think about what's the priority. You have to tell your boss. It's not, I know it's what you're asking me, but you also have given me deadline for this project, and I'm working on that. See, that's our reactive. We immediately give in. That could be in a personal life, that could be in work life, right? Relationships. So we have to be proactive of what's important.
Yeah.
And that's not what we do every day. So, and always, this was another thing. I was watching something last night also. That's was like, this was a really kind of, I had to work through this topic. He was like, I need to be really making sense. And one thing, the second one was always keep end in the mind. What we are doing today, what I'm doing, even in this moment, being at the radio, talking about it, what's the end of this?
Yeah.
What's the point of this? Right?
Yeah.
What am I trying to accomplish from this? Right? What is our goal to do this?
Yeah.
Right? Always have the end in mind.
Yeah.
And in that, I watched this YouTube, the lady was saying, how we say when you die, what do you want people to talk about you?
Yeah.
On your memorial?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Every day has to be, we have to live in a conscious way that what is the, when I leave, what's the end of me?
Yeah.
What would people say about me?
Yeah.
Right? So what am I doing this? What's the purpose of it? So we always have to keep that in mind. And always first thing first. Put our energy where it belongs. And we get very off track, right? We get very distracted. and always think win-win. Right? We have to think like a winner. I'm like, I'm bad at that. I'm working on that. Let's just say I am working on everything here. This is my New Year 2023 resolution.
This is
I
a pep
gotta-
talk to yourself, Bhavna.
I am telling myself, think win-win. Have the abundant mentality,
Yeah.
right? We have to feel abundant. And I was driving here and I'm thinking, you know what? I have abundance. I have beautiful friends. I'm going to see them today. I got children on my corner. I got a supportive husband, and I got this world is favoring me. I'm putting good energy and it's coming my way.
Yes.
Right? I am doing some good conscious work, right? So we have to think like that. Like I am where I am in this world. What am I defined as? Am I really like grumpy person every day complaining about life?
Yeah.
Right? So if I have something, even if I'm complaining, let me reflect and think, what I have.
Why? Yeah.
It's not really, it can get me through. Whatever I'm struggling right now at this moment, I can get through.
Yeah.
You know, I took last night, I was taking a person's call who's not my client, but it was just something kind of my non-profit work, you could say. Somebody who really needed to talk to me, and they've been trying to get hold of me, and that's finally we talked. And it was just like, I realized the abundance part. Like, I talked to her about abundance. It's like, yeah, it's not, you're in a little rut. There's a lot of abundance around it. Just focus on the abundance, and then maybe it will help you get through it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to seek first. The number 5 is seek first, seek first, understand, and then understood. I don't know what I wrote. Sorry. Being empathetic and be attentive of what is expected of others before we present our agenda. You know. So what we do is we sometimes are very quick to give our opinion.
Oh yeah.
Right? And before, especially, I know with our children, we do that a lot, right? Without even they asking for guidance. Like, oh, let me tell you.
Yeah.
You know that
Yeah.
phrase?
Yeah.
Right? So just seek first, right? Seek first. First understand what the other person is trying to tell you before you jump the gun. Like trying to save the world. We call it, I'm the one responsible to save the world. No, I'm
Correct.
not. I don't need to rescue everybody, right? So that's a number 5, because that's how you will manage time. When your focus is, let me help this person, let me help that person, then you will lose what you need, right? Because you'll put your energy. A lot of parents spend a lot of time, let me figure out my child's life for the child, You know, we do that, right? Let me help you.
Yeah.
You got to go to what we call Stanford. Let me help you how you're going to get into the Stanford. Let child figure out if the child wants to go to Stanford or Harvard or Rice University, wherever they want to go. So when parents make that agenda and we quickly just we decide to hold their hand, then we are losing our energy, and even child is not even there, right?
Right.
So then number 6 is synergize. Be authentic, be creative, and open to listen and new possibility. We don't say, you know what, I got everything figured out. I got everything together. I'm not going to hear Lynn because Lynn doesn't know more than me.
Yeah.
A lot of people walk around with
Yeah,
that,
with that.
you know,
With that, yes.
right?
Yeah.
And when I leave from here, I always take so much more with me,
Yeah.
right? Because I was like, wow, Layla, I'm a therapist. Layla, you're also a therapist. Lynn, you're a therapist. My goodness, the wisdom I gain when I leave from here, and I implement here, there. You know, the whole thing is we have to circulate everything, the energy around it. So that's the synergized. I feel synergized when I'm here, right? We have to, when we go to the places where we are not, we call it energized, but I think synergized,
Yeah.
then it's not the place we need to be. Right? I keep on showing up. I call Lynn, hey, you haven't invited me, girl. What happened? What would it take me to get here, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because I feel I'm synergized here,
Yeah.
right? I belong. I feel something I'll walk away with.
Yeah.
So we have to place ourselves in those places, and where you don't feel it, you just walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I think my schedule, my calendar is full for next 6 months. And the last one is sharpen the saw, which is preserve and enhance, right? That's the growth part. We preserve what we have. Nothing has been a waste. I hear a lot of people especially with my clients. Oh, my life been a waste,
Yes.
right? I hear that a lot. Like even with clients who have struggled with substance abuse, they always say, "Oh my God, I wasted my life away," right?
Yeah.
And then we have to tell them, "No, nothing been a waste.
Right.
It's just like preserve what you have and enhance your life from here, right?" That's what we call creating the hope. Hope for
Right.
the self and hope for the
Right.
people around, because we can't walk alone in the life.
Yeah.
We need our gang.
Exactly.
Our
Yeah.
what we call
Village, right?
our tribe.
Yeah,
Our
Right?
tribe, yes.
Yes. So we have to preserve and enhance. And these are the 7 things. If everybody look at it, it's not about time. It's about self. The management is the self. What we are surrounding ourselves, how we prioritizing, how are we organizing, how are we enhancing, right? That's the time management.
Yeah.
Quote, right?
Well said, girl. I'll get you back on next week.
I'm on it, girl. So how do we do this, all these 7 things on the day to day?
How do we?
How do we do it? Lynn is, you and both of you are very good at it, right? Somehow you guys are taking care of family, taking care of business, taking care of this. This is a full-time, another business, but you
Yes.
have another business then. So how do you guys do it? There's something working, right?
Yeah.
How do you do
Yeah.
it?
Well, I prioritize. Like you said, I prioritize and see. Like I know, okay, Mondays I have the show and I have the guests lined up. So connect with them, talk to them, get everything going. And I started delegating now. So, I have Asma helping me with the flyers and things like that. I realize I can't do everything on my own. I'm not superwoman. And yeah, and I always look at the positive. Like sometimes I feel overwhelmed. Oh my God, I have Alings, I have chai time, and
And
of
your
course
non-profit
yeah.
presence.
and like my boys are pretty much independent, so I don't really have to. My family is, the boys are grown up and stuff, so that part is kind of, they've taken care of themselves. So for me, it's and then I sit back and I will think about it and say, okay, why am I overwhelmed? And then I realize I am gaining so much from this. Like with chai time, every guest that comes teaches me so much, inspires me so much. So it's all the positive that I kind of grasp and I take. And then when I go to Alings, there might be guests who might irritate me or
Yeah.
who might be difficult. And there might be staff who are challenging. But then I look at it, it's just maybe that staff is just having a bad day. I need to take him or her aside, talk to her, see what's happening, and start that conversation.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I realize, they are having some family issues, some personal issues, and that is why they are reacting that way. So it's more about asking myself those questions and seeing the positive of things and always seeing, what benefits me, what is benefiting me, what is helping me as that person.
What is synergizing you, right? What gives you
Yes.
energy and what you enjoy.
Yeah.
And the part where she said her boys can take care of themselves, I think she has a lot to do with it. Because I'm always learning from her. They are independent now, but the way she has raised, she still makes sure that you get on a call with them, like, talk about how everything is going. And you gave them independence at an early age, right?
Right.
When you came here and Aaron was
Aaron
still
was
there,
there.
but to leave your child alone, you still have to
Yeah.
have raised them right in order
Yes.
for them to be having such a great career. He's engaged now, got to be married, so have the whole. He's a
Yes,
package
set
for
that
sure, and I think
yeah.
a mama has a lot to do
Yeah,
with
yeah,
it.
setting that foundation.
Yeah, foundation for them.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, it's more, I always look, like they say, look at the glass half full than half empty. So that's what I do. And I wasn't born that way. I wasn't like, it's just, I have evolved. My life has evolved. And I think reading has helped me a lot. I enjoy reading books and, reading and, like just even talking to friends, having meaningful friends, conversations with them, not just, gossip is one thing or whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
little bit of that and having fun with that, but not dwelling into it.
Yes, very much.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, beautifully said. I think it's the struggle of immigrant parent, immigrant people, and I see that with our immigrant families a lot, that we tend to, when we try to fit into this world, we want to cater. We want to make sure we are on a good side of everybody. In that process, sometimes we lose time for ourselves because we
Correct.
have to, we when we're fitting in, we are pleasing people, right? We have to get a job. Sometimes we're doing more work than we need to, right?
yeah.
So I think, and reflecting that, I think it's very important. Like at some point, we have to say we have to create boundaries, learning how to say no, even to our children, right?
Yes.
To
of
spouse,
course.
right? Spouse, like yeah, this weekend was a good awakening for me. Like I was kind of like trying to work in the kitchen and then never asking help, and then I was like, "Come on, like
Yeah.
help me." Well, you didn't have to do this. No, I'm doing this, but you're gonna help me.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like that. We have to, as a family, person, you could do that with your family, learning to say no.
Yeah.
And learning to ask for help. It's
Yes.
okay. Like now my kids are older, but I still will go out of the way, like carrying their backpacks or things like that. And I've
Yes.
realized I don't need to do that now. But
Yeah.
it's just a habit, right? Or
Yes.
you're trying to overachieve and trying to make up for, okay, I'm not working, so let me just do
Yeah.
extra on this side. But I'm not helping anyone because they need to learn the independence and handle things
Very
on their
beautiful.
own,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
So
See, that's
yeah.
what she said. You earlier said she did with her boys, and I
Yes.
think it's important. Like you carrying the bag and you
Yeah.
carrying this
Yeah,
and
or
that.
giving them water, everything is hand serve
Yes.
instead of go get
I
it.
don't know. I
child,
think I
you know?
question sometimes where does that come from?
From-
Why do
from
we
where
why do we
the
do
way
that?
We were
Our
brought
instincts.
up. No,
Our
and I think
motherly
we were brought
instincts.
up that way too. Like my mom did that for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we just follow.
Yes,
we
we
just
just
We are
follow.
followers.
Yeah. We just
Yeah,
follow.
so I think that's where we sort of
Yeah.
see that, okay, where am I gonna stop? Like
Exactly.
where I'm gonna, like you said,
Yeah.
asking for help, learning to say no, developing that self-compassion.
Yes.
If I am not doing that, that doesn't mean I'm a bad mother or I'm a bad worker.
Yeah.
My boss is not happy with me today. Does that mean that I am a bad worker? No,
Yeah.
I'm not a bad worker. I
Yeah.
don't need to please this person. I got to manage here myself, right?
Yeah.
And like you, sometimes taking your employees on the corner and telling them and saying, because you want to be efficient and effective,
Yes.
right? You're just telling them, hey, you got to improve on this. Doesn't mean that you're trying to tell them like, hey, something is wrong
Wrong,
with you,
yeah.
right?
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah.
So that's-
Hearing them out.
Right. So they have to also teaching them about managing their self.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've been in their shoes before, right? I've worked for people. So I know, like, I've had my bad days.
Yeah.
Right? But my boss didn't, like, yell at me and say, why don't you focus today? Or, why don't you do the job is not done correctly, right? And in fact, like, learning through that, like, okay, everyone has their days. Not
Yes.
every day is perfect.
And even the boss and the team, like we all are in a teamwork.
Yes.
Even the boss is part of the team. Like when you
Correct.
become like the executive and then here others are workers, it won't succeed. The time won't be managed because when you see this as a team, then everybody's contributing into one bucket together, and that's where everything will grow.
Yeah.
Right? In a lot of places it doesn't work like that, and that's why they all are struggling.
Yes.
They're struggling with each other's temperament, each other's personality, because they don't have a common goal, right?
Right.
It's just all again, I was working with one company, and that was struggle because everybody had a different goal. one project, but different goals, right? You have to look at the goal. What is our goal together? And everybody's like, oh, one person said, oh, we want to improve on this. We want to improve on this. No, he says, but that's not the issue we have. I think we have this issue. So everybody looked at things differently. Like you said, the glass half full, right? And half empty. Everybody looked the situation very differently. So then everybody's working on it, but they're tackling different things. So they don't have a common goal.
Yeah.
So a lot of people at workforce struggle with that. And that's why nobody manage time. They never get accomplish anything. That's why a lot of projects fails.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? So people say, I'm a project manager. I was like, how is your team doing? Have you checked with your team? How are they happy with the project?
Yeah.
Have you had the meeting about how they're doing with the project? Not just the work, like their self, like mood-wise. Are they struggling with the project because they have things going at home, like you do that with you at your work, right?
Yeah.
If things are going not well at home, they're not contributing. So what's the struggle? How can you make it easy for them? Right? So in the corporate world, these are the things, time management is a big thing.
It is, yes, I agree.
They talk about time management. They're looking at the time like it's something there. Should we turn to the left or should we turn to the right? Or should we keep it straight? No. When it comes to the team, right? Team could be family, team could be a company.
Right.
Right? You have to see whoever involved in that, who's there in that time. There are 20 people in that time, or 4 people in the household is in that time. Are they looking at the same thing?
Yeah.
Right? Is it a mountain or is it a beach?
Yeah.
Right? Where people who likes the beach, they would be thinking they're at the beach.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and when people say, I wish I had more than 24 hours, and I'm just like, why?
yeah.
24 hours is
24
enough
hours.
time to do everything and anything, But it's just, I guess, because everyone's so much on the get-go that they forget the real thing, like you said, the goals.
Everybody was, this is one thing, Como, when we started talking about what topic, and she said, Mom, one thing everybody complains, I don't have enough time in the day.
Yeah.
And she said, I hear that a lot. I don't have enough time in the day. And I was like, whoa, time is time, like 24 hours.
Yeah.
What do you mean enough time? That's the time.
Yeah.
What is time? I never, really, what is time?
Yeah.
How I view myself in this day. That's the time. Right? How I see myself, my day look like. Today's weekend we decide somebody came with a weekend, right? That's a time, right? Weekend is a family time.
Correct.
What does that mean? Right? That means you should just spend most of the time thinking about family on Sundays, going to the church or temple or mass or Jamaat Khana. We choose because we decided that's where the time should be dedicated. Right? So we have to view ourselves in there. Time is just not an object.
Right.
Right? So here I see myself. Maybe I don't see myself with family on Sunday. It's okay.
Or maybe because there are people who are working, and then I've heard them, they cook on the weekend so that they have the food ready for the whole week, right? So then you're not spending time with your family, or you're getting all your chores done and things like that. So
what if
that's your
somebody
day to
saying,
do.
you know what, I'm coming over Sunday, you're not cooking, so what would happen?
I know, right? That would be a good
That
thing.
throws people off.
Yeah,
that's
it does.
That's when there comes, there's not enough time in the day.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people get flustered, right? When it is not according to what
How
it's
they had
supposed to
planned
be.
in their head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that's where you get flustered, you get stressed, and everything else then gets thrown onto you, right?
Yeah, that's what was the non-urgent, non-important.
Yeah.
So if Bhavna calls any of you, or Lela, so it's like, Bhavna, you got 5 minutes. You can tell me that, Bhavna. I'm on this mission. You got 10 minutes of my attention, 5 minutes of my attention, because my mind is in another place. Do we talk like that to people? Why don't we do that? That's where the self part is.
Correct.
Right? We talk, it's like, hey, how are you? Everything, like the other person thinking, oh, she got time for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I've done with Lynn sometime. Lynn Pro is like 10 minutes and Bhavna's going 30 minutes. No, it happens when we earlier in the days when we used to talk about topics.
Yes.
And we have done that. But now it's like, Bhavna, what are you doing? Time management. Okay, we're good. We don't have any questions for you.
You got it, girl. I got your back, you got mine.
There you go. So we just don't even, we forget the phone. We just do text now. Because
but I miss that because when we call, when we talk, we segue into so many other conversations, right? Not realizing the time has gone, but we have enjoyed that conversation. When we realize it, it's like, wow, but we have talked so much. We've opened up to each other about so much.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
you know,
but it's just like being mindful of the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know Lynn is busy. Let me just say the text. But if she thinks it's important, then she will call me.
Right.
Because it's just like we're respectful to each other. And you do the same because we don't know where we are. And that's another thing, creating the boundaries with our loved ones first. And then, other places that, hey, this day I'm at work. Monday is like she used to tell me, Monday is my day off, right? After chai time, I'm off. So then I know this is a good time. So I think we have to start telling people, this is a good day for me, or I have 10 minutes. I used to get very offended earlier when I was much younger, not wiser, like you said, wiser. Like, why? She doesn't have time for me. Like, I care about her, that little piece of me, very insecure piece of me. Like, why she could not take time out for me. I really care about her. But now I understand as I aged, and I guess I'm wiser, maybe. That's how you put it.
Yeah, definitely.
Less sensitive.
Less sensitive? Yes, I like that. Right? I'm more flexible, in my thinking.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And I'm just like that part's energizing, like I am there. We have to create the space for everybody in our world, and they might want to give you this much. You might want to put them here. That doesn't mean you got to put them here too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We almost time up.
Yes. So
a message before we wrap up, Bhavna.
Put yourself first. Be intentional. Be conscious.
Awesome.
Right? That self. See yourself in the time.
Yeah.
Don't let time define you.
Yeah.
You define time.
Beautiful.
Yes,
What a great way to end.
Yes.
If you have any struggle, and we can struggle together and figure it out, you can reach out to me, 281-773-3649.
Thank you so much, my dear. It was so great talking to you, and it just didn't feel
As
like...
always, right?
Yes, it didn't feel like we haven't seen each other or talked for a long time.
I know. Just the thought of coming here, feel the energy here. So blessed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, listeners, for tuning in to Chai Time. We shall see you next week. Same time, same place. Signing off, Chai Time on 99.5 FM.